YouTube? It's that dude named Dave, and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Before we get started, my price of admission. Like, subscribe, and the bell notification below. You guys are watching my videos, but you're all not sub yet. So let me help you by helping me out here and give you guys a few seconds to do this. Okay, we got those few seconds out the way. We don't do long intros, except for my live streams. In today's video, we're coming to Comedy Hype. They're interviewing a comedian by Yamamika who was criticizing Kevin Samuels and Kevin Samuels supporters, saying that they beat down women. So we're going to get to the video and we're going to try to make this make sense.
With Kevin Samuels, his movement, I think he's been able to speak to a group of men that were somewhat feeling insecure or not knowing their, trying to figure out their value. You mentioned, we just talked about Aries Spears, and you talked about how his appearance. Do you think there's like this thing of unattractive men having these high standards that needs to be kind of figured out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
Where do
the
you
thing
think it comes from?
Here's the thing that that Kevin Samuels was communicating, but in a toxic way. The benefit for men is that women, number one, don't mind settling, because a lot of women, their primary goal is to have a partner. Men also want partners, but men know that in the society that we're in right now, especially like in America and especially in like New York, the stats are crazy for men. Like for every one guy, there's like 10 women.
Right.
And I asked the women, what you gonna do? How you gonna fix it? I mean, I guess we just gotta start killing bitches, right? Because we
See, that's being disingenuous. Just because there's actually more women than men in this country doesn't mean that men have the advantage. Anybody can throw a blanket number out there. You have to describe that number here. It is true. There is 2.1 million more black women than men, but are the women actually choosing the men who are actually available? Let's continue.
Out here settling. So for men to have that advantage, and then sort of what they've done with it is become toxic on top of it, and sort of like a nana boo boo. So there's a lot of men using certain truths that are happening in the world to their benefit.
Yeah.
And it's
I gotta stop there. How is it nana boo boo? Men under 30, 1/3 of them are still virgins or haven't had sex in over a year. So even though the numbers of population is a disparity here, it doesn't mean that men have the advantage. Women have access to sex. Men have access to marriage. So for her to say that is saying something that's completely false.
no man is ever going to want you. And it's like, if there are more women than men, at some point women probably will have to share. Women may not want to acknowledge that, right? Women will have to share. I'm telling you, I don't want to share a man. Yeah. So what I have to do as a woman is not try to find my way to this dude. It's to find other options for myself where I'm not relying on a man to validate who I am as a person. Thankfully, for me, I have a good career, right? Thankfully.
I will say this about the sharing aspect. I understand that you want one man to yourself, but you have to look at the location that you're actually at. Yes, there is more women than men, but if you live in a place like Atlanta, Georgia, where at one time in Georgia, where I said that the stats were 18-1, I've been seeing the stats were 23-1. You know what that means, ladies? If the numbers are not in your favor, you have to do something about it. And you know what that means? Doing your homework and research and relocating to a different area if the goals is to look for a man and to find a partner and to be married. But you just can't say men have all the advantages because there's more women than men. You have to look at the geographics here and say, you know what? Atlanta or Georgia's not good for me, for example. Maybe I need to go to Chicago. Maybe I need to go to LA. Maybe I need to go to Kentucky. I'm just throwing some states out there. But the point I'm saying, though, is that if the odds are not in your favor, you have to do something about it.
For me, I have other things in my life that benefit me. Who I speak for is the women who don't have a lot of other options, right? They're women that maybe not career women, or they've only been raised to, where's my husband? Who's the man I'm going to take care of? Where's the man I'm going to love? Those are the women that my heart cries for. because a lot of those women get overlooked. For as much as we have men saying that women are gold diggers and women want this, they want that. I'm like, I see a lot of regular women everywhere settling for a lot of regular shit. Not only that, I have friends of mine who are these high value women with the degrees and that no man want. Yeah, but stop acting like you don't want her because she's some independent bitch that don't know how to treat a man, because I'm telling you, those women know how to treat a man.
Right.
I've watched.
If they knew how to treat a man, they would have a man. Let's just be honest here. When you're talking about independent women who are college educated, let's say that they got a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD, women need to understand that depending on the career they chose, men may not choose them. She is being blanket saying that women are not being chosen here. I know these women who are good and things of that nature, but we're not understanding how these women are. Are these women overweight? Are these women obese? Now, looking at this comedian here, she is a big woman. Let's just not skirt around it here. 78% of black women are overweight and 80% of them are obese. So we know in our community, only 22% of our black women are actually of a regular size here. So when you're saying that they're not being chosen here, we need more details. We need more information. Or do they already have kids and then do they carry before they get married, because men are not choosing to be stepdaddies? You just can't say, I know these women here and they can't get a man here. Why? We need more information. Are they big like you? Do they have multiple kids and multiple baby daddies? That is a lot of questions that I can even go further on to explain why they're still single, but you just can't say that and saying that there's something wrong with men.
Take care of
it could be intimidating, I think, is what it is.
Right, but that's what a man needs. The man needs to.
And I need to stop early here again. This guy interviewing, this is my second time doing a Comedy Hype interview. And the last time I did it, he was interviewing Amanda Seales regarding Kevin Samuels. I got to say this here for the people at Comedy Hype. Why don't you guys do your homework and do your research on Kevin Samuels? This guy here, after all this time, still has no idea about Kevin Samuels in his message by the way that he is interviewing here, especially the Amanda Seales. So we got a man here who has no idea who he's even talking about here. And we have a woman in her feelings about certain things about Kevin Samuels that she may have seen in clips.
Go, wow, it is hard to be with a woman that got this and got that, especially if I don't have this and that. But we're in a society that would rather tear the man down, to tear the woman down. Because you don't hear that on the other end when men are high profile and then there's women that are not to the profile of their man. They're not going, well, look at him out here. They go, oh, how do I love him? Here's what women do. Jay-Z had like some type of a ribbon cutting. This was years and years ago. I think this was before him and Beyonce got married.
Okay.
And Beyonce came to that event dressed down. I mean, not, it's Beyonce, so even her dress down looks fabulous. But, she came like, she had the hair pulled back. She had like a little suit on. She was like, I'm his woman. I'm like, Beyonce doing the shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, no matter, and I'm sure Jay-Z, and he seems like a very secure man, right? But there's a part in a woman that goes, I just want to be next to my man and see my man win. So this idea that women don't want to see men win because they're at a certain level is bullshit.
Right.
Right?
It's not BS here. See, I hate when women and people in general use entertainers as an example, right? And I understand Beyonce is the first person that, you come to mind. But here's the thing. We're choosing an anomaly. We're choosing the exception and not the rule. Because one woman who is very successful and very rich, who wants to be married and loves her husband, you're trying to say, well, all women are like this here. That is wrong, because we can use Beyonce for both sides of the argument. Because from her Single Ladies video, we still have women to this day singing that song saying that they're happy to be single, while Beyonce is laid up with her husband, with Jay-Z, and multiple children enjoying her life. So by you saying that, look at Beyonce and all women are like this, that is wrong. You're taking the exception and not the rule. And we should never use Beyonce because she is of a caliber of a woman that the majority of women is not here. We need examples of regular women, not entertainers, not athletes, or anybody of that realm here, because we are not of that ilk in that world.
I can't tell you how many dudes who's going to be on my level in comedy right now that ain't married. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of cats that are not on my level in comedy. So if I fall with some dude, okay, I like you. I like you for who you were. Listen, let's come build with what I got.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these dudes, they don't want to do that. The first thing they get insecure about is my stand-up, or I'm funnier than them. I'm this, I'm that, I'm blah, 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 blah. And even I gotta go, oh, how do I tone me down?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you said that your grandfather instilled a certain level of independence. Just kind of me in terms of the dating space, I understand the intimidation because it's going to require more out of me as a man to be able to like feel like a man in our space.
I'm cutting him off here. Are men really intimidated, or you are giving off masculine energy where a man is going to refrain back and don't want to deal with what you're giving here? Men want femininity, and she gives off so much masculine energy, especially in her career and her craft as a comedian. Do you really think that men are intimidated, or they're basically saying, we're good because you're acting like more of a man and trying to step on my toes more than anything else? You may be successful, but you know what though? The way your energy and the way you move can showcase that you're pushing men away.
Because I do think that's where some brothers are maybe struggling, where it's easy to see the damsel in distress and I could just show up in my presence and she's like, oh my God, baby, you're here. But a woman that can like change her own tires, like how the fuck do I be the hero in
But it's easy to be the hero in that. Because if I know how to change my own tires, you can change them. Thank God. I'm trying to change my own tires.
Yeah.
I'm only learning to.
Interesting enough, a lot of guys don't have that don't know how to do that.
Well, listen, if it take me showing you how to change tires so that I don't have to change tires anymore and that make you feel like a man, I'll show you how to change your tires. I think what people don't understand is like with men are not.
Before she goes on here talking about changing tires, if you know how to change the tires and if you're coming across men who don't know how to change tires, it's one or two things here. A person like me, I have quite exceptional AAA service where I can just go ahead and call somebody and my car is going to be taken care of in no time. But if you are over here making an example about you need to teach a man how to change tires, it sounds like that you are in the norm of emasculating men. And if you're emasculating men, then what man wants to deal with this here, A? Or B, are you choosing a beta man who's going back into his shell and wants a dominant woman when you're actually looking for an alpha male? See, there are so many caveats to your conversation that the interviewer is not equipped to even interviewing right now because there's no pushback. There's no additional information to give on the man's side here.
What I'm not getting is beating down a woman only gives you like a hamburger, right? Building up a woman to give you a meatloaf. And yes, I'm using a food analogy.
You should be using food, how big you are.
But you can beat down a woman, get you a hamburger. You can build her up and add ingredients and then get you a nice meatloaf that you can have some sides with.
Right.
And I think men are sort of on this, if I beat her down, you ain't shit. Nobody wants you. You ain't this, you ain't that. They go, then we can conquer these women that we would never have access to because they're doing better than us, beat them down to our level, and then now we get to pick from them. And then you wonder why the women you're picking from got an attitude, or they strong, or they mean, or they this, and they that. Because like they've been in battle with you niggas since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
That is so often, that is so wrong here. Men are not beating them down here. Hear me say this here. There are some bad guys, maybe some Pookies and Ray Rays that you may come across here because we do live in this world here that there are bad people, right? But at the end of the day, we're not beating down women. We're holding women accountable. We are tired of our women disrespecting us here. We are tired of our women looking down at us here. We are tired of our women lying, saying one thing when it's the other here. We are tired of you making excuses for situations that are not actually happening here. We're tired of you having babies and then want us to be stepfathers and to be the step-up man and then want us to work harder than the Pookies and Ray Rays that you dealt with here. We are tired of the way that your shape and sizes are. 78% of Black women are overweight. 80% of those women are obese here. Like I stated earlier, we want our women to be in shape here. So how is that beaten down when we know that you're not living right? You're not dealing the right lifestyles here. And we are calling this out now because we're no longer being silent.
Or you can do this thing, right? You can play chess. I had an ex who loved chess. 2 exes actually loved chess. Both of them niggas played checkers with me. They don't know how to play chess. In chess, your queen is on the board, right? She's guarding you as the king. At some point, you got to be the dude to say, listen, I got my bitch out in the front. But also, as I got her out in the front, I got all these other niggas surrounding her. So it take a lot before you get to me. And it is the dude they're going to try to get to. You got to go through all these different, but not only that, the queen has been fortified with so much power from the king that she can move any way she wants to. She can send dudes on her own. She can navigate in ways before, oh, you messed up over here. Let me just get over here because he couldn't do it. The rook couldn't do it. So I'm here. Oh, let me get over here. All of that while she's protecting her king. To do that, you have to be strong. I don't think men understand that women need to be strong women in order to be this functional woman that you want. And her softness will come whenever she interacts with you.
That is wrong. That is called conditional femininity, right? The fact that the man's presence is going to dictate the way she moves here. When in actuality, you should already be in this energy. You should already be in this essence, no matter if there is a man around or not here. So the fact that you're stating that if he's moving this way here, a woman's going to be this way here. No, a woman should always be in her place here. When I say her place, her natural element. If she's not in her natural element, that means that's conditional. That means at any given time, she can flip-flop. She's going to go from femininity and then she's going to be masculine. Men know this. Men see this. And we're encountering this all the time here. You can't say that a woman will be in this place by this here because we know in that you're a chameleon and a shapeshifter, and that is a downfall for a man.
You determine her softness.
No, we don't.
But you got to let her be strong too. You got to let her be somebody that can build. And so you don't complain about all these things. But really, when we get down to the bottom of it, we have men complaining about women they cannot acquire to women that they can. So they're punching.
Let me pause that here. It's not about what we can't acquire. It's about all the women making requirements that are not logical. If you guys watch my videos, women who want men making $300,000 a year when their last man was a meth head. We have women here who have 4 kids by 4 different men and 44 years old, and then expect and look for a marriage and then expect the man not to have any kids. We have a woman who has 3 kids by 2 different men. The first and the third kid is by the same man, and then the second baby daddy she cheated on with her original baby daddy. Now she's 29 years old and is expecting the man not to have sex and whatsoever until the marriage night when she's already doing all these things here. Men are seeing unfair deals of women being hypocrites, moving the way they are, and then when the good man comes around, they expect the good man to work even harder than the Pookies and Ray Rays and Tyrones who were able to get at her with no issues whatsoever. That is what we're talking about. That is what we're discussing, but she does not see that.
Down, you're calling everybody a gold digger, a BBL, you weave, you this, you
Women
that.
aren't getting
You're
BBLs.
talking about a small population of women that you're seeing on Instagram. You're running into their DMs and because
I have to pause there. There is not small there. If you go on IG here, you will see women every single day flying to get cheap BBLs, and they're on planes. They can't even sit on the planes here. We're seeing so many women move this way here. It's not a small. It is showing the population. You just don't want to accept it.
Because they got BBLs and they look hot, they can get a man in Dubai to take them out for billions of dollars, and you gonna bring them out for what, 45 cents?
Yeah.
So then the women that you have access to, you yell at them about the stuff that the women that you can't get access to are doing. So now you've got all these women who are social workers, librarians, teachers, whatever they, regular women about their grind, beautiful women trying to do their thing, and they're going, what?
Social workers who go ahead and pile over $70,000 in student loan debt only to get a job making $45,000 a year and have all this debt here. The same thing is saying with teachers. Unfortunately, we need teachers, but they accumulate over $80,000 worth of debt and go into the wrong field of teaching here, making only $50,000 a year with all that debt here. The problem, though, is the fact that we're seeing the background. You're talking about these are social workers and teachers. These are people who didn't choose right. Or are they the same as you who are overweight and do not rock their real hair here? Things that men don't want, something that she's not understanding, what men want.
So what are we doing? Why are we being so attacked? So now that puts a whole other demographic of women who are like, well, when in Rome, do as Roman.
Yeah.
So now you got all these pick me, choose me, thirsty bitches out here
What's wrong with
running
pick me?
around tomorrow. What we got to do for our men? And it's like, it's a vicious cycle. And at some point, I'm going to be clashing with the choose me's, the pick me's, and I'm going to be clashing with the dudes, because my narrative is not about overpowering men and taking men down. My narrative is, we need to be strong as a community. Everybody needs to be thinking on all cylinders, know how to communicate, know how to have discernment, common sense, so that we can move forward. And that does not require you to put me down or make me subservient so that you can feel like a man.
That's the end of the video. And obviously, she is somebody who has never watched Kevin Samuels' videos, as well as the interviewer here. The way that she talks, the way that she describes these items as somebody, like we were saying before, who's only watched clips, somebody who's seen some hot pockets and some hot moments in an interview that Kevin Samuels may have a woman, and automatically they get triggered because their emotions make them feel like Kevin Samuels and people who support him, men like me and other people in these men-centric spaces, that we hate women, that we downgrade women, that we disrespect women and we put them down, when in actuality that is not the case. If you watch any of his full videos or watch any of my full videos, any people in this space here, what we want women to have is accountability, to understand that the way that you're moving and to be accountable for your actions. If you are overweight or obese, men do not want that. So we're telling women, men do not desire that, and you need to get yourselves in shape, not only for men, but for yourself, because it is the healthy way to do here. You're trying to downgrade, saying that it's only a small finite woman who's getting BBLs, things of that nature, when we can go online and to do analysis every single day of women flying and getting these surgeries left and right here. Women who have weaves and wigs and wearing styles of hair that doesn't even match their skin tone or even match their actual physical stature here. And men do not like that fake hair all the time. It's one thing if you're doing it for special events and occasions, but every day, no, that's not what we're talking about here. And then on top of that, the women who have these abnormal views of men, who want these high standards of lifestyle, but not looking at the qualities of men. That's what we're talking about here. That's what Kevin Samuels talking about, but that is something that she fails to see. But am I off here? Am I wrong, or do you agree with here? Let me know here. Subscribe, like, and comment, and click on that bell notification below. Let me know what you think about my commentary. Let me know what you think about this woman here, and let me know what you think about Kevin Samuels and how he is being viewed in this video here. But until next time, I'm that dude named Dave. See y'all later, YouTube world.